Alright guys, this is a video to help you on the problems that you had questions on from the worksheet with the word problems. So looking at number 4, that was one that popped up the most, the one people had the most questions on, and I think a lot of it has to do with recognizing what this vector is telling you right now. There are two vectors here that we're going to split this into, the red one and the blue one. And we need to calculate both vectors separately here. I think some of you may not have really thought about what that 300 one is telling you. So that 300 one is actually showing me that I have a vector that's at 0 degrees. That's going at 300. So this is similar. There was one on the last assignment that I also did in the video where it went straight up. It was at 90 degrees. So this one being at 0 degrees tells me that I can actually write the vector out right away. The horizontal component is over 300 and there's no vertical component. So that's the vector for that particular, the component form for that vector. And then we're going to find the component form for the blue vector. So this is 45 degrees. This is 125. I'm going to turn that into a triangle and we're going to find each component here. We're going to find the x component using cosine, so it'll be 125 times the cosine of 45. And that gives me that the x component is, we'll go the next one, still the x component, 88.39. And then we also need to find the y component, call that y1. y1 is going to be 125, we're going to use sine, times the sine of 45 degrees. y1 ends up being 88.39 as well, because, this is a isosceles triangle, so they're the same. So that gives me that in component form, that one is 88.39, comma 88.39, and then we just need to combine those to find the resultant vector. So we would add those together. The resultant vector is going to be 388.39, comma 88.39. And then we need to find the direction and the magnitude. The direction, we're going to use tangent. Tangent theta is equal to the y value over the x value. And this one is going to be in the first quadrant because everything's positive, so I don't have to worry about finding the standard position of the angle. Whatever the calculator tells me is going to be the answer. So that's going to give me that theta is equal to 12.82 degrees. And then I need to also find the magnitude. The magnitude is just the Pythagorean theorem, 388.39 squared plus 88.39 squared, and just type that in your calculator. And you should get 398.32. Alright, so I hope that helps. Again, anytime a vector, it's this guy here that keeps tripping some of you up. Anytime a vector is either horizontal or vertical, you can write the component form right away because it doesn't you don't have to do Pythagorean theorem, you don't have to do SOHCAHTOA. You already know what the horizontal and vertical component are, so just write that out right away. Alright, this next one is one of the ones that combines three forces, and this one also has one that's going at 0 degrees, which could be the part that challenged a couple of you. So I'm going to write out just 3 quick pictures here. The first one says that we are at 0 degrees and it's 185 newtons. The next one is at 30 degrees and that's 165 newtons. Go ahead and make that triangle. And then the last one is at 300 degrees, so that's here, 195 newtons. 300 degrees as in the fourth quadrant, and make that triangle. So this first one, in component form, its horizontal component is it's going out 185, it is not going up, so there's no vertical component. That one you're done with right away. You could still use the formulas too if you wanted with 0 degrees. it would give you the same answers, but these ones you should be able to do without having to use the formula. Alright, then we're going to find the component form of this next one. To find the x component, we're going to use cosine. 165 times the cosine of 30 degrees. That is 142.89. And then we're going to find the y component. That's going to be using sine. That is 82.5. So this one in component form is 142.89, 82.5. And then we have to find the components of that last one. So this is x, this is y. X is going to still use cosine, so it's going to be 195 times the cosine of 300. And you get 97.5, and then we're going to find y. That's going to be 195. Should call this 2. 195 times the times the sine, sorry. Finding the opposite side, sine of 300. We get that the y is negative 168.87. So there are my three vectors. The next thing I'm going to do is add them together. I'm just going to add on my calculator right now so to not take up more space. So it's 185 plus 142.89 plus 97.5. The horizontal component is 425.39, and then 82.5 minus 168.87 gives me that the vertical component is negative 86.37. So then from there, the direction for this one's going to be a little bit more difficult because this is not in the first quadrant. If I were to graph that, it's going to go over and down. It's going to be in the fourth quadrant. So to find the direction, it's still going to be tangent. Tangent of theta equal to y over x. If you need to put those in the picture so you know exactly where they go in the fraction, you can. I'm just always doing y over x from the component form. So then we get theta is equal to negative 11.48. But we have to find that based on it being in the fourth quadrant. So if I wanted to get to the fourth quadrant, I would have to swing all the way around here. I'm going to have to add 306 degrees on that to figure out how big that angle is. And if I add that, that should match the answer that I had, 348.52 degrees. That's your direction. And then to find the magnitude, we're just going to use the formula for magnitude here. 425.39 squared plus negative 86.37 squared. Honestly, when I put it in the calculator, I just drop the negative because I know it's going to get rid of it anyways. So if I type that in, we should get that the magnitude is 434.07 newtons. Okay, we got one more. This last one here, if I look at all three parts, this is again a 3/4 one. You just got to be really careful with your math here and make sure you're doing each part correctly. The first person pulls at 15 newtons at 65 degrees, so that's in the first quadrant. 15 newtons, there's my triangle. I'll find x1 and y1. In the next one, it says that the second person is at 135 degrees. That's in the second quadrant at 16 newtons. x2, y2. And then the last one is 195 degrees, which is in the third quadrant, at 11 newtons. So here's 11, this is going to be x3, y3. So we've just got to calculate each of these out. We're going to find x1 is going to be 15 times the cosine of 65. I'm going to calculate these a little bit quicker this time. I'll pause and calculate them on the calculator. So I'm just going to write them all out right now. This is 15 times the sine of 65. And then this one's x2. It's going to be 16 times the cosine of 135. y2 is going to be 16 times the sine of y35. Sine of 135. Shh. x3 is 11 times the cosine of 195, and y3 is going to be 11 times the sine of 195. So I'm going to calculate those now on my calculator. So magic of technology, there's all the calculated answers from my calculator. So then to get the resultant vector, I'm just going to add all the x's together and add all the y's together right now. So 6.34 plus negative 11.31 plus negative 10.63 is going to be negative 15.6. And then the y part, hopefully seeing all these numbers, you guys are going to catch exactly where your mistakes are. So just fix wherever the mistake is. This is 22.05. And then again, we're finding the direction and the magnitude of this vector. So this one, if we were to graph it, would be over negative, up positive. It's going to be in this quadrant, over negative 15.6, up 22.05. And we're trying to find theta. So we're going to do tangent theta is equal to 22.05 over negative 15.6. And you're going to get theta is equal to negative 54.72, but we need the answer that would be in the second quadrant. We need the answer that would be here. So we're going to have to add on 180 to get our answer. And you should get that theta is equal to 125.28 degrees. So there's our direction, our angle. And then the last part is finding the magnitude, which is going to be the square root of negative 15.6 squared plus 22.05 squared. And I'm just going to type that in my calculator and let it calculate that for me. And you should get that the magnitude is 27.01 newtons. So again, hopefully you can look through the work, figure out, it's probably one number that's off somewhere that has messed up your answer. But find where that error is, fix it, because we do have a homework quiz tomorrow. So I just want to make sure you're fixing all your mistakes on all of these homework assignments so you're ready for that homework quiz. All right, good luck, and I will see you guys tomorrow.